Hi guys, welcome to day 3 of the Food and Body Obsession Workshop. I am so humbled once again, let me fix my monitor here, to have been reading through some of your homework. I just got a chance to sit down and look at some of the homework that came in overnight for day 2 and a few kind of late starters from day 1, and just so humbled that you guys would share that with me. And I absolutely loved reading through it and seeing the breakthroughs that you're having, and also just experiencing that breakthrough with you. I know that this is tough work, and I know that this is not your typical not your typical diet and fitness program. So but that's why this is different, and that's why it works, and that's why the women that I work with report such high happiness levels on top of healthier and more effortless habits. Because we get down to the real problem. We get down to the actual problem that no one else in the industry wants to talk about, which is that there's something deep inside of you that's broken, and it's manifesting into these food and body obsessions and this food and body inconsistency problems that we're having. It's manifesting as this struggle, but the problem is not going to be fixed by a meal plan and a meal program. The problem is going to be fixed by getting down to what's actually broken. And a lot of that we talked about yesterday has to do with your body image, and you're feeling that you're not worthy unless you have the right body, or the certain body, or the avatar. Yesterday we talked about creating or taking a look at your avatar and what you think that you should be looking like. And more homework coming in right now. Let me turn off my do not disturb. The avatar that we created can haunt us like a ghost, and make these decisions that are not healthy for us, and are going to keep us inconsistent and keep us in these disordered patterns, it can go on and on and on for years and years and years. For me, it went on for 20 years. And I'm still looking at someone like my grandmother who's almost 90 years old and still going through these things with like Weight Watchers points. So, that's not what we're trying to do, right? I think most of us want to be happy, and we want to be, we think that the body is what's going to make us happy, but I am here to tell you that I got to that body and it did not make me happy. It actually made everything worse. My self-esteem was never lower than when I got to the 12% body fat body that I had, when I got really lean, because it was like, it's not enough, it's not enough, it's not enough. It was like a drug. And I needed more and more and more to make myself as happy as I was when I first hit it. So that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for real life, long-term solutions. I don't want to work with my clients for the rest of their lives. I don't know about these other personal trainers that want their people to like yo-yo diet and keep coming back to them, but I want to work with you for one good amount of time, and invest a lot of work and a lot of time with you. And then you go off and be able to experience a new life and never have to go on another diet again, never have to go through another program again, but like really understand yourself and really understand what's driving you, and to get on the right path. So I'm quite passionate about this, if you can't tell. So yesterday we talked about the body and the body obsession, and where that comes from, how it shows up in society, and how it can really mess with our heads. And what that does, it causes us to go into a food obsession. For some people, as I mentioned yesterday, it also can be an exercise obsession. As a form, what we're looking for is a way to fix our body. So it can be food, but it can also be exercise. And but the most common thing that I see is food obsession, and with exercise obsession, of course, being a close second. Or it might be a food obsession, it might be an exercise obsession, or lack of, like you're obsessed with the fact that you can't exercise, or you're obsessed with the fact that you need the right diet. This diet doesn't work, so what's the next one that's going to work? Thinking about the food you're going to eat all the time, thinking about the way that you're going to fix your body, and food and exercise are just the mechanism for that. So that's why these things are so closely related. So if you can see, we started with, if you can imagine a tree, right? And the roots of the tree are your self-worth and your body image and what you think, you have to be. So that's under the surface, and that is what is feeding everything else. It's feeding the trunk. So the trunk is like your actions, and the leaves and the branches are your results, the results that you're getting. So if everything down below is sick or malnourished, then your actions are going to be, the trunk of the tree is going to be sick as well and not functioning correctly. And your results are going to be what you're experiencing, the frustration and the obsession. So in my program, we don't work on the leaves. We don't try to put the Band-Aids on the leaves. We get down to the actual problem, which is the roots. And so that is what is driving this, that food and body obsession. If your root is, I have to fix my body and I am not worthy until I fix my body, and you are obsessed over that and you're thinking about it all the time, then this is what you're going to get. You're going to get these actions that are inconsistent, and you're going to get these results that are less than what you deserve and less than what you are wanting. So that's what drives it. So when you hate your body, all your actions come from a place of fear, right? When you are convinced that there's something wrong with you, that you're not good enough the way that you are, that you have to fix your body in order to be worthy or beautiful, then all of your actions are going to stem from fear. And fear is a feeling of imprisonment. I base my entire coaching model, my entire life, but my entire coaching model around a quote from Gary Zukav, which is, the choice that frees or imprisons us is the choice of love or fear. Fear imprisons and love liberates. So anytime that you are fearful and you're trying to control a situation, you feel imprisoned to that situation. And it's the same thing when it comes to food and your body. If you are fearful that I am not good enough, fearful of what people are thinking about me, fearful of what my partner thinks about me, and just sometimes we don't even know why we're so scared to not have a perfect body, or to be at in a larger body than what we are used to or what we want. And so we don't even know what that fear is coming from, but we feel it. And I hear it every single day from women. I am afraid of gaining weight. I am afraid I'll never lose this weight. I am afraid that I am stuck in this body. And that is driving all of these other behaviors that keep us very inconsistent. And so as long as you're operating from this place of fear around your body, you will feel imprisoned to those things, right? I'm going to say that again. As long as you are operating from a place of fear around your body, you are going to feel imprisoned. Do you like feeling imprisoned? No. I would venture to say that most of us hate that feeling. As human beings, we don't like to feel tied down. We don't like to feel like we have to do things. We like to feel free, which is why on the other side of this, you feel happy because you feel more free. And all of these things come together in that way. So when you're on a diet, when you're on a restrictive program, you're feeling compulsive with food, it feels so imprisoning because it's all rooted in fear of rejection, fear of unworthiness, fear of other people's opinions, right? These fears are natural. So this is another example of primal stuff. Like the other day we talked about how our primal brain can drive the binge restrict cycle. Maybe that wasn't this workshop. Maybe it was a story I did. But I did talk recently about the binge restrict cycle and how it's and we're going to talk about that tomorrow, by the way. It's all from a primal place in your brain. Well, this is the same thing. Back when we were hunters and gatherers and we existed in like a tribe formation, our tribe protected us. And so if they rejected us for some reason, we did not have the protection of our tribe anymore. It meant certain death. So this is built into our primal area of our brain that we cannot be rejected. We are wired literally to feel rejection. That doesn't mean that in this day and age with our developed, our brains have evolved. And so now we can rise above that. We have the ability to rise above that fear. We don't need to be afraid of death anymore because of rejection, right? And so we can rise above that. But, the fear of rejection from your tribe when you're hunters and gatherers is very real. And once we feel free, our healthy habits will feel different. They'll start to feel easy. They'll start to feel effortless, right? So this is why in my coaching that we try to shift our mindset from out of self-control, which is that rooted in fear feeling, and into a place of self-care, which is rooted in love. So you're trying to get away from like, I have to fix this, I'm going to control this, I'm going to get on this meal plan and control my body, and this is going to change everything, into a place of like, I'm going to let that go for now, and that is going to be secondary. I am going to concentrate on self-care, and I am going to do that from a place of, I deserve this. I want to feel good. As a human being, I should feel good. I'm as a mom, I think that so many of us think that we're secondary and our needs are secondary, and it almost feels like a chore to practice self-care sometimes, because we have all these other crazy responsibilities, right? We have all these other things going on. Our lives are chaotic, and it can feel like a chore. But when we're doing it from a place of self-love, and like, you start to realize this feels different because I'm doing it for me, yes, but also I feel good when I do it. When I feel good, I can handle all these things better. I can handle my responsibilities better. And I'm becoming more efficient with it. So it starts to feel like an upward spiral instead of a downward spiral when we're coming from that place of love. So we in a fear place, when we're in that place of fear, we try to isolate our actions, right? Like I said, we're trying to put leaves on Band-Aids. Band-Aids on leaves. We force diets and food rules. We force exercise. We force health. But it's just a Band-Aid because it's coming from fear. And then starting from a loving place means those actions that we're trying to force become the natural side effect of self-respect. I deserve this. I need this. This is, that was my son's school. That's what I need to function from a place of self-respect. Now I'm distracted because my son's school just called. That cannot be good. As long as you're operating from a place of fear, self-hatred, unworthiness, you're going to either keep obsessing or you're going to keep getting stuck, and you're going to feel that underlying panic and anxiety and misery, as I did. And so this body obsession co-creates a food obsession. Sometimes it's exercise too, as I said in the beginning, but it's almost always with food, because that's what society has taught us. It's taught us, it's all about the food, right? And this sense of fear will send us into a tailspin for control. We take control of the food that we eat, and then we enter into a diet and control mindset. So we feel out of control. We feel self-hatred. We feel unworthy. And the way that we grasp for control is by controlling our food. It seems like the one thing, like, I can't control what my body's doing, so I'm going to fix it with food. And then we start to obsess. And then we enter into all these patterns that I'm going to tell you about tomorrow. The binge restrict cycle, we'll start using food rules, and we get into a diet or a control mindset. And, as I said yesterday, when you start to go into that diet mindset, what you're doing is, you're isolating the action of eating. You're isolating that action instead of letting it flow from a place of love. You are isolating it and controlling it from a place of fear. And it is exactly like putting yourself in prison and putting the key in your pocket, right? So when you are restricting yourself, you're saying, I cannot eat XYZ. I am no longer eating sugar. I'm no longer eating, whatever it is, or I'm gonna follow this plan. And you're only doing it because you hate your body. And you are going to instead what you're going to do is you're going to put yourself in that position, and you're going to eventually pull out that key and let yourself out of the prison 99 times out of 100. And so what happens is, like, then you beat yourself up for letting yourself out of prison, and you're mad at yourself, and that it just goes on and on and on this way. We want to feel free. And so we think that, this is going to work for us, but what actually works is just feeling free all the time. And you can do that. I feel free right now, and I have the fittest and healthiest version of my body. You can have the thing that you want, which is the healthy body, the fit body, and feel free. And all of us think, because of diet culture and because of diet society, we think it has to be hard, and we think it has to be white knuckling and, like, willpower, when those are the exact things that are keeping us inconsistent. And so, dieting seems to be the answer, but it makes everything worse by creating these disordered eating habits, and food obsession. We enter into the binge restrict cycle, which is what I just kind of described with the prison. Binging might win out, overeating might win out, but, it's the same cycle. So I told you guys yesterday or on Monday, that I was binging more than I was restricting, but it was still the same cycle. And then I was restricting more than I was binging, but it's all the same cycle. It's guilt and shame around food. It's disordered eating patterns. It's feeling like food is good or bad. And, at one point I was binging more. At another point I was restricting more. It still all came down to the same thing. So, every meal, when you're in this place with food, every meal when you're on a diet becomes a battle. It becomes a battle. Our head is full of thinking about food so much that we miss out on our lives. We miss out on our lives as women, as moms. As I said yesterday, it consumed my thoughts. And I know that for so many of you, you're experiencing the same thing, where it's consuming your day. It's consuming your life. You have a meal and then now you're thinking about the next meal. How many of you has that happened to? You are, time slows down when you're on a diet. Have you ever noticed that? When you're restriction mode, when you are like doing these things, time will slow down and it just crawls by. And it's like, eat the meal, get on the scale. Did it work yet? Or do the workout. Did it work yet? So you are feeling like time has stopped when you're on this diet. And so of course, you're going to be annoyed and you're going to be grouchy and you're going to be wondering, where are my results? And it just doesn't last. It just is not, you cannot live your life like that with time slowing down and you thinking about life in terms of from one meal to the next, right? So we obsess over what's going to work. We can't go out to eat without stressing about what to order. I went through a period of my life where I would not go out to eat without checking the restaurant menu ahead of time. And if there was not an acceptable meal that fit within my meal plan, we could not go there. And that meant that friends always had to meet me at my restaurants, and that's annoying. My husband if he wanted to go out to eat somewhere, he had to go by himself because I only had like 3 restaurants in the area that I would go to. That was at my restrictive phase. And then at my binging phase, I would, eat what I wanted, but I would feel bad about it. And so because I felt bad about it, I would eat lots of it because I thought that I wasn't supposed to be eating it. And so, I might as well eat it all now, right? So it does, you're always in this war with food and you're always thinking about it. And we're like, we can't go out to eat. We can't go to parties. We can't go on vacations. We miss out on social events. The worst of it was like when I actually told my friends that I couldn't come to a party and they asked me why. And I was just finally honest with them because I was at the end of my rope at that point and was like, I don't want to bring my own food and I don't want to think about it. And I was starting to miss out on life because of that. But even when it wasn't that bad, it was still taking up the majority of my thoughts and I wasn't present with my kids and my family. And I was missing out on time with them and being present with them. But like I said a minute ago, this whole process, all of this stuff, the dieting, the restriction, the programs, the whatever they're all called these days, it's not even necessary to achieve a healthy and fit body. In fact, in order to achieve a sustainable, healthy lifestyle that's both physically and mentally healthy, it's important to drop this mindset and to step out of that downward spiral. Because by now you see, it starts with this low self-worth. It starts with feeling out of control and hating your body, and it spirals into body obsession, food obsession, exercise obsession, and then you're just round and round and round and round for years and years and years and years, right? And so it's important to get out of that spiral and to do it the way that I do it and the way that I teach my clients to do it in this new way that feels free. So we're not going into any prisons. I don't feel like I'm in prison. When I go to a restaurant, I know that I can order exactly what I want now. When I am like taking my kids out, if they want bagels, I'm like, all right, let's get bagels. There's no restriction anymore in my life, but I'm also really healthy. I don't binge anymore, and I don't overeat or compulsively eat anymore. I feel very, what's the word? I'll never come up with it because I thought about it too much. I feel very stable with food. It's not like it doesn't take up a whole bunch of brain space anymore. In fact, when I cleared all that brain space out of, oh my God, what am I going to eat? Oh my God, what does my body look like? I started this business because I had so much room in my head, and I was able to think about other things besides what does my body look like. So the whole process is not necessary. I was able to, with my fourth child, I lost the weight of pregnancy doing it this way. Yes, it took longer. It took a little longer, but you know what? I never had to go through it again. And I never gained weight after that. And I didn't binge restrict anymore. And I didn't, I had a good relationship with food, and I have all this freedom, and I'm happy, And as I said at the beginning, when you get down to the root of this problem, where we're talking about like our body image and our self-worth and the way we feel about ourselves, when we get down to that, it doesn't just go into like, I told you that that's the root, and then the actions are the trunk, and the results are the leaves, right? Well, the results are not just food and body either. The results of low self-worth will manifest as food and body, but also in relationships and with money and in business and all these other aspects of life where our low self-worth, our low regard for ourselves, the way we're treating ourselves, our mindset is manifesting in all these different ways. And so it's very common for me, everything changed for me. My relationships with my family, my kids, my husband, my coworkers, people out in the world, everything changed when that changed for me. Not just food and my body, all these other things too. So it's very common for my clients to say like, my relationship with my husband's never been better. He is thrilled. He is so thrilled that I'm so happy now. So we're talking about it in terms of food and body, and that is what I focus on because that's what I work with. But doing this work will affect every aspect of your life, and that will be just one of the many results that you can expect. So tomorrow I'm going to be discussing the most common traps that we fall into, and I'm going to teach you what to watch out for. So today I talked a little bit about the binge restrict cycle. I'm going to go into detail about that tomorrow. I'm going to talk about dieting and what it does to us exactly, and exactly how it keeps us inconsistent. I'm going to talk about the disordered eating patterns and all the stuff that comes out of dieting that you probably think is normal because you've been led to believe by the dieting industry that it's normal, but it's not. And it's keeping you stuck. And then also I'm going to go into talking about being too results focused, having low self-worth. We're going to talk a little bit more about that tomorrow, and just tracking and things like that. But today, and at the end of the week, I'm going to tell you a way that you can continue this journey with me. First, I'm going to introduce some women to you who have gone through this process, are on the other side of food and body obsession. I'll be sharing their stories on Friday, and then I'm going to invite you to continue your journey along with me. And here is your homework for this week. I want you to journal. Are you operating from a place of love or fear? And here's the way to do that. Think about why you're doing things. Why am I so insistent that I need to lose weight? Why am I trying to change my body? What is your why? What is your motivation? And really just keep asking that question why until you get down to I'm afraid of, or I want this for myself. And if it's I'm afraid of, then you're operating from a place of fear. And if it's I want this for myself, or I deserve this, or I want to be happy, I deserve happiness, then that's a place of love, and that's a good sign. And that's where we want to be. And that's where we're going to try to be getting to and shifting to, is that place of love for yourself and that place of self-regard. So it's important to know whether the things you're doing are coming from a place of love or fear, because if you are operating from a place of fear, you're going to keep running into these issues. You're going to keep coming up against this inconsistency. And these patterns that you probably are not sure where they're coming from that root of fear. And do you hate your body? And if so, then what actions are coming from that? And are you forcing habits for the sake of controlling your body? Are you putting band-aids on leaves instead of looking at the roots? So a little bit of journaling around that, and see if what you can come up with, and any insights that you might have about that. Share them with me. You can tag me on Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram. I know a couple of people have done that. You can email me when you see the email that comes in today, and share your homework with me. I have not been able to answer everyone's homework questions, but I have been trying to at least read all the ones that have come in, if just briefly. But I'm very, very excited for all of you to be working on this with me. And I know that this can change your life because I've seen it over and over and over again. I'm real excited to share the stories of the women who were in the mentorship with you guys on Friday. So you will be amazed at how far they've come in such a short period of time. And hopefully that will inspire you and give you some hope that this is also possible for you. Okay, so that's it for today. Do your homework tonight. Share it with me if you want. And then we will be here tomorrow at, I think I said, tomorrow I can do 12. Tomorrow I can do 12. So tomorrow we'll be here at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. I will be live here. And of course, if you can't make it, as always, make sure that you're on the email list, that you signed up for the workshop. You can still sign up at the link in my profile and get the video replay. Okay, that's it for this week, or for this day. And I need to go find out what's going on with my son at school. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.